Happy Wednesday. I hope y'all are doing well. As I said, I'm going to get on here periodically and just kind of share a few words, hopefully once a week, maybe more, I don't know. But I wanted to kind of share today just something that I kind of been working through personally. And I really thought of it as kind of like, who do I run to? Like when something's going on or I'm struggling through something, like what's my first resort? What do I do? What's my last resort? And just really been thinking of this whole concept of lessons and also the lens of from which people speak. And it's so important that kind of like when we're going through something that we really think about who we're going to get advice or encouragement or whatever, and also remembering that there's a purpose. And like I guess the first step is understanding that there is a purpose for every single thing that you go through, everything that you encounter. You may not ever always understand what that purpose is, but knowing that it's not just taking everything for granted and just trying to endure every moment of life, but really taking it in and trying to understand, okay, what does this mean? And also just believing that it's a part of the big picture of your development or building your endurance or whatever it may be. There's always a purpose for it. And so when you do embrace that perspective, it impacts also how you go through things. Am I just gonna barely make it through, sliding through, or am I gonna like really go through and try to understand, okay, what am I supposed to learn in this moment? God, what are you trying to show me? And if that is your belief, of course, that God has a purpose for everything you go through, then it's important that when we are going through those things that we don't just engage people who are just gonna like pat us on the back, or if we get feedback they don't tell you that's not true. And the truth is some feedback is true. There are some people on your job or some people that you see maybe even more often than the person who you're going to get them to basically tell you that it's not true. And so what I'm saying is, if I work with someone, my manager, and she sees me every day and she says, listen, you're great, but you're kind of like up and down all the time. I don't know what flavor of the day it's going to be, versus a friend that may not even live near you or see you every day. They're like, what do you mean? You're always positive. You're always whatever. They don't have the same perspective. And honestly, your manager may have a better perspective than they do just because of their exposure to you more often. So that's just one obviously small example, but I'm just saying that you don't want to miss out on opportunities for growth and development because you're not really like seeking God, and praying about the things that you're going through or that you're dealing with. And also like I said, when it comes to the lens, a lot of times what people say, even though they have great intentions, they're coming from their hurts, the things that they really struggled with, or their value system, whatever it may be. They're bringing that to the table when they're responding to what you say to them. And honestly, sometimes those things are different than the direction you want to go in. Sometimes they're different than even what your belief or value system is. Sometimes their scope is just limited in terms of their understanding of who you are, the situation. And at the end of the day, they also don't know like what this one thing means in terms of the broader picture. Does that mean there's no place for advice or talking, confiding in friends or family? Absolutely not. I mean, there's obviously a healthy dosage of that, but if you're always running to someone for something before you even seek God or pray about it or even sit and think about it, I just encourage you and challenge you to really seek Him. I used to be the type I would say I would give wise counsel, but at the same time, like, I'm giving what I think is best based on like my perspective. And I found myself more times than not recently just saying like, you know what, let me just pray with you about it because I really don't know. And this was my experience, but that may not, this whole situation may not have that same purpose for you that it had for me. And I don't want to be responsible for, kind of derailing you from what you're supposed to learn from this, or what you're supposed to feel, or what you're supposed to heal from, or what this experience is supposed to shed you of. I mean, like some experience is supposed to shed you of selfishness, and if I'm preaching self-care, which is so essential and so important, but in this moment, it's not necessarily about it's something that God is trying to shed you from. I don't want to be that person to affirm you in the way to derail you, that will derail you from what you're supposed to be doing or shedding or learning. And so it's so important that we understand the power in the tongue. We choose our words wisely, even when people come to us and confide in us. It's being responsible with that platform and with that opportunity, and taking people back to Christ and saying, listen, I want what he wants for you. And so maybe this was my experience, but yours may be different. So I'm just praying for all of you all. I really hope that you really seek Christ first. Again, there are certain things that you are supposed to learn that maybe the person you're confiding in has never even learned, or they don't even understand that concept, or it's just a different perspective, which is fine. Like I said, it's no indictment on them. It's just you have to take ownership and responsibility for your physical, emotional, mental growth and development. And part of that is, really being careful about how you navigate through and address certain situations. That's all I have. I may have another video a little bit later on. I did have my first small group pop up this week, and it was absolutely phenomenal. It was great connecting with such amazing women, and we really talked about a really compelling topic, and just so powerful. And I'll probably share some cliff notes of that later, but wanted to share this for today. Hope you all have a wonderful Wednesday. I need to hop on this call thing, so talk to you all later. Have a great day. Bye.